你们坐，你们坐。不要围在这边，这边都有线啊，护脚。角落里面可以看到所谓的沙滩。我们刚刚在那个沙子的左边啊，这是洗发水了。
这一场后面就是那个TCR了吧？
啊，对，老外了，这老外。
那个TCR还是比较有看点。
那你要快一点，快一点，激烈一点。
可能水平比较高一点。
对，
是吧？
对，老外的。
我那个连着看了3年了。他那个去年那个马修二的那个视频不是火了吗？他在就在那个最后一圈的时候，最后一个弯道把那个超了。
对，我知道。那他激烈啊。
他就是先跟着他那个屁股后面，然后
拉立圈。
对啊，我操！
Ni hao, Zhuzhou. Hello, everybody. Welcome. It's qualifying day here for the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour. And here we are in China at the Hunan International Circuit. So, like I said, it's qualifying about to happen and every point matters this weekend. Jan Erlesche comes into this weekend 42 points ahead of teammate Ted Bjork, who put it on top in free practice 2. And then he's just 3 points ahead of Esteban Guerrieri. Still, the championship fight is wide open. What's not particularly wide open is the teams battle, and I'm here with Fred Varlin now because Lincoln Co Cyan Racing could win that teams battle today. Hello, welcome. Right, good news for free practice. That was nice. Ted put it on top. This is a tricky technical circuit, isn't it? So what are your thoughts on this circuit and your thoughts on your winning of the team title today?
We're not focusing on winning the team title today. We take a step at a time, and qualifying next of us, it's a little bit tricky because we had some rain this morning, so the track is still a little bit damp, but it looks like it's going to be dry, so it's going to be a challenge. We saw the pace of the cars yesterday, so we feel confident. Hopefully we can get all the cars through to Q2, and that's the first goal.
Good. All right. Have a good weekend. So championship battle is still very much open. Everything to play for. We've got Will Brown in the seats replacing Josh Buchan, the Australian, this weekend. Oh, that's very loud. It's time to go for qualifying, folks. Zhuzhou.
Thank you very much indeed, Alex Legui, Paul Jeffrey up here in the commentary box, and a very, very warm welcome indeed to you all to the penultimate qualification session of the 2025 Kumho FIA TCR World Tour. This weekend, we are delighted to be alongside TCR Asia, and we are absolutely delighted to be here at the Hunan International Circuit. 3.774 kilometres of 14 turns, 7 to the left and 7 to the right. A technical, a challenging, a high-speed in-places circuit, and more importantly, the kind of track where a TCR touring car can quite possibly overtake. 3 racers are ahead of us today, but before those 3 racers can commence, we of course have to do our duty and qualify the 22 drivers that are taking part over the course of this weekend. We'll have a look at who those 22 drivers are in a few moments' time. But we're about to get underway in the big business of Q1, the first of 2 sessions here in China. Q1 will last for 20 minutes. We'll follow it straight up with a Q2. The top 10 will go through into Q2, and that will form the grid for race number 1. At the conclusion of race number 1, the top 10 finishing positions reversed will be the top 10 for race number 2. And the conclusion of the second race of the day, the third and final race, will be the cumulative points from qualifying in the first 2 races that will make up the grid. All sounds simple, doesn't it? Well, don't worry too much about it. We'll tell you all about it again as we get on the racing action. And we are racing again today as well. Qualifying taking place this morning, 9:55 a.m. local time. And we'll be racing at 14:40 local, which is around 6:40 a.m. UTC in the morning. So, first and foremost, if you're getting up early and watching this one live, a big hello and well done to you all. And if you're watching this one on demand a little bit later on, I hope you've had a great day, and I hope we have a great qualifying session ahead of us for you to enjoy. A great qualifying session that is only seconds away from kicking off. As Alex mentioned already, free practice 1 yesterday. Bebo Girolamo, the quickest driver of all from Santiago Urrutia and Jan Earlische. Lincoln Co-Cyan Racing Squad looking strong. Ted Bjork was quickest of all in free practice number 2. Mikkel Kona and Aurelian Comps joined him in the top 3 positions. Bit mixed up, not quite sure exactly where the pace is yet for all of our Kumho FIA TCR World Tour drivers. But what we do know, if you're Jan Earlische, if you're Ted Bjork, if you're Esteban Guerrieri, if you're one of those 3 drivers, you're going to be wanting to be at the very sharp end of the grid to give yourself the best chance possible of scoring those points to take it all the way to Macau to decide our 2025 Kumho FIA TCR World Tour Drivers' Champion. As you can see then for yourself, the green flag is illuminated, or the green light should I say is illuminated at the end of pit lane, and 22 TCR cars make their way out onto the racetrack to engage in this qualification session. We have onboard cameras over the course of the weekend for you to enjoy, one of which is on car number 105, our reigning double champion, Hungarian Norman Miklis, driving for the BRC Hyundai N Squadra Corse team. It's not been the championship defence that perhaps Norby was looking for. Another one of our drivers that will be enjoying the benefit of onboard cameras is that man, the French driver, Aurelian Comps, in the Cupra Leon VZ for SP competition. Aurelian enjoying what's been a remarkable first season, it has to be said, at World Tour level for the French driver, already taken a race victory as Aurelian Comp, 36-year-old, currently sitting in, I'm having a look down here, 8th position in the World Tour standing. So not exactly where I think it's fair to say the performances in 2025 have suggested he should be. I think for Aurelian it's been very much a feast or famine type of season. It's had a few DNFs which have perhaps hurt the overall point scoring opportunity for the French driver. Point scoring opportunity, by the way, for Lincoln Co-Cyan Racing. They come into this one with a very good chance indeed of securing that team's title at the conclusion of race number 1. They've got 793 points. Next on the list is Goat Racing with 551. It's not a case of if, it is a case of when for Lincoln Co-Cyan Racing. And I'm sure with the meaty business of 2 drivers in contention for the driver's title, it's almost a case, isn't it? Get that team's championship out of the way, and then you can focus on who it is going to be that takes the point on track for you as a driver. By the way, Marching Hua, car number 155, they're having a look here, racing on home soil in China. It's been another one of those seasons for Ma, hasn't it? Lots and lots of pace, marred by a few too many incidents in car number 155. Ma comes into this weekend 6th position overall, the Drivers' Championship, 210 points though to his name versus the 374 of teammate Jan Earlische. I think Ma will perhaps look back on 2025, air of positivity in many respects, but just not quite strung together the season that we know that the 38-year-old driver is more than capable of doing. But it just hasn't quite come together so far. Let's have a look though what he could do on home soil. Often for a race car driver, you put him in front of a home crowd and they find a whole load more pace. Let's hope for Marching Hua that'll be the case in this first part of qualification. We follow then the Lincoln Co-Cyan Racing 03 FL03. Beautiful car is this one. Very popular around this part of the world, and marching class so far so good. Tops the times, doesn't have a representative time to his name, so that's kind of a little bit misleading. It's more of a based on track position, shall we say, than ultimate pace. But let's have a look then through the final corner we go. Reference time that we're looking at so far is a 1:44.3 set by Ted Bjork in qualifying. As you can see on your screen, a 1:46 flat is nowhere near the ultimate pace that we're expecting so far this weekend, as Mikel Afkona gives us a much better representative time of 44.5 to go quickest of all, just ahead of teammate Norbert Miklas. Marcinkoir bumped down in a third position with that initial sight a lap, just ahead of Ryan McMillan for HMO Customer Racing. Speaking of which, a very big warm welcome back to Mr. Will Brown in car number 301, stepping in for Josh Buchan, who has prior commitments this weekend. It's absolutely outstanding to see Will back in TCR machinery, back on the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour stage as well. Double winner at Sydney Motorsports Park all the way back in 2023. Really showed the World Tour field just what the Aussie boys could do. And the HMO Customer Racing team, fresh off a victory, let's not forget, at Indyspedium with Josh Buchan. Even with Brown out of a TCR car for quite a while, he's got a small matter of won himself a Supercars Championship last season, like you do. He's going to pop back in again, but I don't think the lack of relevant experience will be too much of a hindrance for the very talented Australian driver. Let's have a look at what the 2019 TCR Australia champion can do. Now he's back in some front-wheel drive TCR machinery. First time in the Hyundai Elantra N TCR. And back to the original spec Hyundai Elantra N for BRC. They had the EV version last time at Indyspedium, the new turbo and the new map on there. Well, they've reverted back to the original spec car for this weekend, so a bit more of a known quantity for BRC, and so far so good for team and drivers. Mikel Afkona is your quickest man of all so far, at 44.693, sticking to the head of the pack. Norbert Miklas quicker in sectors 1 and 2 than previously. All fell apart in the final sector, still holds on to that second place. And let us not forget, dear viewer, this is Q1 of 2. Aim of the game for these drivers is to get in that top 10 and get their golden ticket to the second and final part of qualification. 3 minutes, 54 seconds left to do it. Who are the drivers that are currently under a little bit of threat? Santiago Urrutia, Nacho Montenegro, Bebo Girolami, Jan Erlichet, Esteban Guerrieri, Will Brown have yet to set a time. I will not stay that way all the way through qualifying, I'm absolutely sure. As HMO Customer Racing look on, ever so slightly concerned. But their two chargers, Ryan McMillan, Will Brown, both seem to be on track without any kind, fair or foul, to worry about. As we have a look at Nestor Bebo Girolami, the Argentinian driver, the third of 3 drivers here at the BRC Hyundai N Squadra Corse team. And make no mistake, he's every bit the equal of Mikel Afkona and Norbert Miklas, and he's doing a grand job so far. Fastest personal time in sectors 1 and 2. Can he improve for the third and final sector? Yes, he can. Bebo Girolami sets a time good enough for third position so far, with 13 minutes left on the clock. Lovely time then for BRC, isn't it? It's a Hyundai benefit. I'm saying that one perfectly on cue. Thank you, Aurelian Compt and Ted Bjork, who come and spoil the symmetry, so to speak, at the head of the pack. Aurelian Compt in the 107. Plus a sterling lap time in there, a 1:44.6. Just a tenth and a half away from Mikel Afkona. Second quickest time. Ted Bjork moves himself up in a third place. And there is the onboard camera from Aurelian Compt. Beautiful shots. Really love these shots. You can see the track. You can see the driver working as well. And you can see the kind of forces exerted. You often say, hey, that just looks like the car that I have at home. If you're lucky anyway. I can't be that quick. Oh, I'm a lucky boy. I've been in a few of these over the times around different circuits. And yes, they are quick, they are violent, they are noisy, smelly, exciting places to spend a bit of time in a cockpit of a TCR car, and these drivers do a very good job indeed to make it look relatively straightforward. And making it look straightforward, Will Brown, right on cue, car number 301, goes, hello boys, I'm back. And as the Australians say, that lap was a bit of a ripper. A 1:44.652 for Will Brown is good enough for second position so far in Q1. We're just a minute and 30 seconds away from hitting the halfway marker of this first of 2 sessions here at the Hunan International Circuit in China, as we make our grid for the first of 3 races, happening a little bit later on today on track for this penultimate weekend of the season, in what I am sure my dear friends watching at home will agree with that myself, has been an absolutely cracking year of racing, hasn't it? Really has been fantastic. The Kumho FIA TCR World Tour, still very, very young, isn't it, in its life? This is just our 3rd season, believe it or not, of racing action. And just like everything in life, every time you go out there and do it, you try and do it that little bit better. I think it's fair to say, each and every season, the World Tour just gets that bit stronger. It's been a great year so far. Still got plenty of racing though. We're reflecting, aren't we? We're getting a little bit retrospective at this late stage in the season. Well, no need to quite put the rose-tinted glasses on just yet, Paul. We've still got plenty of racing action and qualifying action, it has to be said, between now and before we say goodbye for 2025, not least of which is the rest of this weekend, and then Macau to end our year on the 13th to 16th of November. That's Moran. Then we're having a quick look at Diego in the DM23 Ecuador racing machine. The 37-year-old Ecuadorian racer back again. He was here at Ingespiedium last time around. Can Diego do anything to improve his lot in life from 14th? Yes, he can. He gets a time in there that just beats Ryan McMillan, moves him up in a 13th position. Good stuff there from Diego Moran. And having a very quick look behind on the timing screens, Lo Zhuzhou is currently the fastest of our TCR China drivers, up there in 5th. So Moran, 2nd in TCR Asia for now. Of course, we're with the TCR Asia grid this weekend, and it's absolutely wonderful to be here. Great to meet our friends and colleagues from the Asia region, spend a couple of glorious weekends motor racing with them. I think it's fair to say we've been very warmly welcomed by the whole paddock, both at Ingespiedium in Korea last time out and here at the Hunan International Circuit in China. Really, really great to be back again and race alongside some wonderful drivers, and several drivers of whom are new for this weekend. So if you tuned in at Ingespiedium, we've gained some and we've lost some as well. We'll talk about it a little bit later on, probably in the gap between the 2 qualifying sessions. But a couple of big names that are new or gone. Dusan Borkovic, not here this weekend for GOAT Racing, as previously mentioned. The legend that is Mr. William Brown, back again on board the HMO Customer Racing Hyundai Elantra N TCR, which, interestingly, first time this weekend that Will has driven the Hyundai Elantra N. Seems to be adapting to it like the proverbial duck to water, as you would absolutely expect. Currently up there, so far, in 2nd position, and on an outlap, looking to improve his lot in life. Just like Marcin Guar will be, with increasing levels of desperation, some might say, be looking to improve his lot in life on home soil. The Chinese driver Marcin Guar currently having a bit of a stinker down there in 12th position. Work to do for Ma. No compensation weight on that car, so the 155 is running light. We know that the Lynk & Co Cyan racing machine is a rather rapid piece of motor racing equipment, and we know that Marcin Guar, with a bit of experience in Formula 1 and touring cars and everything in between, definitely knows how to pedal a TCR car. So 12th place, do not expect to see 155 stay in anywhere particularly close to that one, although there is traffic in front. That's Will Brown on a side to lap, just getting some heat in the tyres. Ma then is personal fastest in Sector 1, personal fastest in Sector 2. This is a very good lap indeed for Marcin Guar. Will gets out of the way, good bit of driving there for Brown, doesn't impede his rival, and then through into the final couple of corners. This is the 155 pushing, tries not to stay outside of track limits. Good bit of driving there from Marcin Guar, does complete the lap, and that is a nice lap time indeed for car number 155. Marcin Guar, thank you very much, sir. 5th position for you, just under 0.2 of a second away from our pace-setting driver Mikel Azcona. Hello, Lynk & Co Cyan Racing. Your boy did a very nice job indeed, but there's still work to do for the team just yet. Jan Erlichey, uncomfortable, I would imagine, down there in 9th position. Santiago Urruti, his teammate, just ahead. This is Nacho Montenegro. He's now got the dreaded 12th place, previously occupied by Marcin Guar. The young Argentinian driver, though, I dare say, doesn't expect to fail to make it through to Q2 in this one. However, expectation and reality aren't always happy bedfellows, and Nacho Montenegro has plenty of work to do indeed. Quick in Sector 1, can't quite say the same for Sectors 2 nor Sector 3. Montenegro fails to improve his time, stays 1.2 seconds away from the ultimate pace, and crucially stays in that 12th position. This is Santiago Urrutia having himself a little bit of an adventure with one of our TCR Asia competitors. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Who is that in 381? That is Red Diwa. So Red, eek. Maybe Santiago Urrutia will be seeing a little bit of red rather than the car number 381, currently in 19th position. Reinbert G. Diwa. Oh dear. Not nice to see. Very difficult in difficult qualifying situations. You want to get out of the way if you're the slower car. You don't want to impede the cars around you. But often, the concentration and the energy that you've exerted working out where to put your car relative to your rival. Next thing you know, you look up and sometimes you're sailing past the braking zone and straight to the scene of the accident. Duar, though, I think he got away with that one, as did Santiago. This is Bebu Girolame. Oh, thank you very much, track limits. Goodbye. Track limits through the final corner. Bebu, a little bit squirrely on the inside curb. Manages to keep it all gathered together, though, and goes 9th quickest. That's a decent lap for the Argentinian driver. Keeps him inside the top 10. Santiago Urrutia there, having just been rudely assaulted a few moments ago, is the man that currently sits on the qualification bubble. 10th position for him will be the last of those that are given the magical pass into Q2. Now, for Santiago, no one likes to be the last in queue, do they? It's a little bit squeaky bottom time, it has to be said. Esteban Gurrieri, Nacho Montenegro, Ryan McMillan. Well, stress factors ramped up to number 12 for the three of them. None of those drivers are currently trending towards making it in to Q2. This is the 310 that we're having a quick look at now. This is the Revex racing car of Wang Yimin, another one of our new drivers in for this weekend, and a very warm welcome to them. Currently, as things stand, 22nd and last of all of our drivers. Esteban Gurrieri came into the career weekend in second in the driver standings, left it in 3rd position. There's a little bit of a new livery on the front of that Goat Racing Honda Civic, and there is a visit to pit lane for the Argentinian driver. Gurrieri stays, as things stand, in 11th position. 3 minutes and 55 seconds. There is time on the clock to get some fresh Kumho boots on that car and back out again. But if you're Esteban Gurrieri, yikes, and Nacho Montenegro, or Ryan McMillan for that matter, in 11th, 12th and 13th respectively, you're not going to be comfortable, are you? You're not going to be feeling good about life at this moment in time. Because remember, folks, if they stay where they are, if you don't make the top 10, that is where you're going to start race number 1 from a little bit later on this afternoon. And at the very top of the show, I said the Hunan International Circuit is the kind of track that you can overtake. But when you're fighting for a championship, recovery drives are not what you need. Esteban Gurrieri, with 30 kilos of compensation weight aboard that Honda Civic, most definitely has work to do before the checkered flag waves on this first of 2 qualification segments here in China for the Kumho FIA TCR. Diego Moran, we're picking back up again there very briefly indeed. Let's have a look at Norbert Miklis getting there. Ooh, hello Sunshine Rover in all the land. Whoa, 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 sweet child of mine. That was about as close as something can be. Looks even better on board, doesn't it? I caught it out of the corner of my eye during the live. I'm glad we've seen that replay, but Norbert Miklis, pop back in again, Sunshine. You need to take yourself a calming down tablet. That was almost the slowest speed and most frustrating accident you will have ever seen in touring car racing. But Norbert, great cat-like, some might say, reactions, avoids any kind of strife and stays in that 6th position and currently treading towards a spot in Q2. Riding on board then with Champ, our 2023, our 2024 Kumho FIA TCR World Tour Drivers' Champion, barring an absolute miracle. Unfortunately for all of us Hungarian fans, 2025 is not going to be netching the name of Norbert Miklis on the Drivers' Championship trophy, I don't think. But for the 105, for a driver of this absolute quality, as he almost gets the handbrake on through the left-hand hairpin. the rest of this season is all about learning, all about rebuilding the confidence, scoring the big results where they're available, and building for what should hopefully be a much more palatable 2026 campaign for team and driver. I'm saying that one though, I mean, Norbeats doesn't look good at the championship, but he's taken 3 victories in a pole position this year, so not a bad season's work by anybody's imagination. But for Michaelis to be 5th in the standings and a mighty 148 points in arrears to historic rival Jan Earlishay. Even with those 3 wins, it's just not been the season that Michaelis or team or pretty much every fan of motorsport in the whole of Hungary will have been hoping for. Great character though is Norbe, and absolutely if any driver you come back to pick himself up, dust himself off and come back stronger, young Norbert is most definitely one of those. Right then, 33 seconds. We've been rambling for a while, folks, haven't we? The qualifier's whittling its way down in Q1 now. 30 seconds to go. Diego Moran decides, I am bored of driving, so I'm going to park in the least convenient place possible. Perhaps bring out a yellow flag, and perhaps, for Goat Racing, wave goodbye to what was going to be a relatively straightforward weekend and say hello to a world of misery. Guerrieri, Montenegro, and HMO customer racers Ryan McMillan are not in the top 10. If those double waved yellows that they expect will be waving for Diego Moran have any kind of fly in the ointment, that is really going to mess up the day for Goat Racing, it has to be said. Let's have a look then. Guerrieri, the quicker of the 2 drivers through Sector 1. Sector 2 for Montenegro was very poor indeed. It's looking difficult now for Nacho. And there we go, Sector 3 is proof positive. The Montenegro will be starting 12th position at best. Coming in to race number 1. Esteban Guerrieri, though, has got everything on the line. 7 tenths is what he needs to be away from pole position to make it through. 3.2 tenths into the second sector. The third sector, historically, has been where Guerrieri and Honda have missed out a little bit on their rivals. But let's watch this one. He is down in 11th position, but this is vital, ladies and gents, to make it through into Q2 for the final corner. Esteban Guerrieri goes, and for the final corner, it is just enough to get into the top 10. Esteban Guerrieri goes 9th quickest at the very death. Santiago Urrutia is the man wondering what went wrong in 11th. There is the still stranded Diego Moran. Not sure if that's steering angle or a little bit of a skew with front right wheel there on the Honda Civic. Either way, Moran going nowhere. He's 14th quickest in qualifying. Won't be improving on that one. Ryan McMillan fails to make it through to Q2 as well. Jose Alosejo, big shout out there to the number 281. 8th position in qualification for the Evolve Racing Hyundai i30N. Great stuff there from Alosejo. Absolutely superb performance, under the radar performance, it has to be said, to be the quickest of our TCR Asia drivers and to be 8th quickest overall and ahead of some very impressive touring car names behind. Right then, that's Q1 over and done with. We'll have a look at the provisional results in a few moments' time. I am almost certain our very own Alex Legui is there, microphone in hand, ready to grab a few words with some of our drivers, personalities and team members down on pit lane in this short 5-minute break we have between now and the Q2 session that will follow in a few moments' time. That will be 10 minutes. It will be the 10 fastest drivers, capped off, as you can see, by Bebo Girolami in 10th, and then they'll fight for the grid positions for the first race of the day, happening a little bit later on here in China. Drivers that won't be doing that, although, is that man Santiago Urrutia. First of those that failed to make it through. 11th position for Santi, 4 1,000ths of a second behind Bebo Girolami. Nacho Montenegro and Ryan McMillan will be keeping him company as well. So 3 very big name drivers indeed fall at the first hurdle here, the Hunan International Circuit. Big upsets in qualification then, folks. Lots and lots of exciting times, and this is our provisional Q1 qualification result. Ted Bjork, Aurelien Comte and Jan Earlishay are the top 3 drivers, but look at the gaps. This is crucial. 4, just under 5 tenths of a second covering our top 7. 7 tenths covering the top 10 drivers. That's the difference, the very fine margin between a happy driver and a very sad one indeed. Santiago Urrutia will be starting from 11th for race 1. Nacho Montenegro and Ryan McMillan. Diego Moran, we didn't quite see why the car came to a stop at the side of the racetrack, but we know the car did indeed. The Ecuadorian driver will be 14th, just ahead of Chan in 15th. 22 cars took to the circuit. 12 of those now have been eliminated ahead of Q2, where we do it all again for 10 minutes to set the grid for race number 1, round number 16, that'll be taking place in a very short while indeed. Right then, we will be with you in a few moments' time. Hopefully, we'll be down to Alex Legui in this very short turnaround. Opportunity for the drivers to have a quick word with their engineers, make any last-minute changes to the car, get some fresh boots, get some fresh Kumho slicks on the car ready for Q2. Just 10 minutes in this session. It's going to be very tight indeed. But before we do, let's head down a pit lane where Alex Legui has Santiago Urrutia, who I'm sure will be very disappointed indeed, failing to make it through to Q2. Okay, maybe we're not quite ready then to have a word with Santiago Urrutia down there. So we will come back to that one in a couple of moments' time. And we're coming back to Q2 in a few moments' time as well. It's dark on screen because we're building anticipation, ladies and gentlemen. Q2, 10 minutes, 10 drivers, 1 circuit, 1 opportunity, 1 chance to set the grid for the first racing action of the day. Looking at the times, looking at the performances, shall we say, from the first part of qualifying, it does look very good indeed for our main championship contenders. Jan Erlichey makes it through. One of his main championship rivals, Esteban Gurrieri, won't be taking part in Q2. For Erlichey, coming into this weekend with a very healthy, it has to be said, 42-point advantage over teammate Ted Bjork. This could be an opportunity to extend that championship lead. Remember, we pay 15 points for pole position in qualifying. So again, everything that you can do in qualifying, not just to give yourself an advantage when we come to racing, it also gives you points in your back pocket as well. Anybody who watches touring cars, just like I do, will know every single point is oh so very vital indeed. Just bear with us a few moments. We will be bringing you the action from circuit, I absolutely promise you, in a few moments' time. Just bear with us while we work our way through this small technical hiccup and then the small matter of Q2 to decide the grid for our racing action. And again, a reminder as well, if you didn't catch the start of the show, first and foremost, where have you been? It's early in the morning in Europe. Got nothing better to do at this time, I'm sure. But if you didn't catch the show, just a big reminder, this is qualification ahead of round number 16 of 20 in the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour. We will be racing a little bit later on today. It will be